My beloved child, listen to me in the deepest place of your heart. That door did not close because I forgot you. It did not shut because I turned my face away from you. It did not become silent because your tears were unimportant to me, or because your hope was foolish, or because the desire you carried was invisible before my eyes. I saw you when your heart reached for that door. I saw the trembling in you when you believed it might finally open. I saw the prayers you whispered, the courage it took for you to hope again, and the quiet way your soul leaned toward what you thought was coming. I know the pain you have not fully explained to anyone. I know the unanswered message that left you checking again and again, trying to understand how warmth could turn into distance so quickly. I know the opportunity that seemed so close, the plan that collapsed after you had already imagined a future, the relationship that ended after your heart had already made room, the promise that seemed to rise before you and then disappeared into silence. I know what it felt like when hope had already awakened, when your heart had already started believing, when your mind had already begun arranging life around what you thought I was giving you, and then suddenly the door closed. But my beloved child, do not be quick to call every closed door rejection. Do not be quick to call every silence abandonment. Do not be quick to call every loss punishment. There are doors that wound you when they close because your heart was attached to what was on the other side, but there are also doors I close because I see beyond the beauty of the entrance. I see the hidden weight behind it. I see the spirit attached to it. I see the compromise that would have grown slowly. I see the anxiety that would have multiplied. I see the way your peace would have been drained little by little until you no longer recognized yourself. What felt like denial may have been mercy moving before danger became visible. What felt like rejection may have been protection arriving before your discernment could name what was wrong. What felt like failure may have been my hand interrupting a path that would have cost you more than you were ready to lose. I do not close doors carelessly. I do not frustrate your heart for no reason. I do not take pleasure in your confusion. But I love you too much to let your longing lead you into places where your soul would be weakened, where your purity would be pressured, where your identity would be negotiated, where your nearness to me would become secondary to the thing you were trying so desperately to keep. So I ask you gently, and I ask you with the love of a father who sees what you cannot yet see. Was that closed door rejection, or was it protection from what you could not yet see? Was it truly the end of something good, or was it the end of something that only looked good from the outside? Was it punishment, or was it my mercy standing between you and a future that would have broken your peace? My child, there are times when your tears fall over what my wisdom has prevented. There are times when you grieve the very thing I have rescued you from. There are times when your heart asks why I did not open what your soul will one day thank me for closing. And if this word is speaking to the place in you that is learning to trust my protection, even when it comes through a closed door, pause here and let your agreement become visible. Like this video as a simple act of faith that I am still guiding you. Subscribe for more messages of discernment, healing, and holy direction. Share this with someone who is grieving a door that closed and does not yet understand why. And write in the comments, Lord, help me trust your closed doors. Let that be more than a sentence. Let it be a surrender. Let it be the beginning of peace returning to the place where disappointment has been speaking too loudly. Now let your heart become quiet, because I am going to show you why I did not allow that door to remain open. I am going to speak to the part of you that still wonders if you were overlooked. I am going to touch the place that still asks whether you did something wrong. I am going to teach you how to see my protection inside what you once called loss. Be still, my beloved child. I saw ahead. I saw what your heart could not yet discern. And because I love you, I closed the door before the danger had permission to enter. I do not blame you for crying over it, my beloved child. I do not blame you for feeling the ache of what did not happen, the heaviness of what ended, the confusion of standing before a door that once looked possible and then became still before your face. I do not rebuke you for the tears that came when the answer was not what you expected. I do not condemn you for wondering why something that seemed so close was suddenly withheld. Your pain is not invisible to me. Your disappointment has not offended me. I am gentle with the place in you that hoped, because I know how much courage it took for you to hope again. But I do not want you to misname what I was doing. I do not want you to call my protection an abandonment. I do not want you to call my wisdom rejection. I do not want you to call my interruption cruelty simply because it did not feel gentle to your emotions. My child, your heart often judges a moment before the full road has been revealed. Your heart feels the locked door, the sudden silence, the unanswered longing, the absence where you expected an entrance. And because your heart can only feel the pain of right now, it begins to say, I have been forgotten, I have been pushed away, I have been denied because I was not loved enough, but I saw more than the moment. I saw where the road was going. I saw what would have grown if the door had stayed open. I saw what your heart could not yet survive. There are times when blocked access feels like rejection because you are standing at the entrance and not at the end. You see the doorway, I see the destination. You see the possibility, I see the consequence. You see the smile, the invitation, the opportunity, the promise of belonging, the feeling that something is finally changing. I see the hidden strain, the slow compromise, the grief that would have multiplied later, the peace that would have been traded little by little, the prayers that would have become weaker because your heart would have been too entangled to hear me clearly. This is why I ask you to trust me beyond the first appearance of a thing. Some doors look like favor at the entrance and become bondage in the hallway. Some invitations feel like answers at first and become confusion after your heart has already surrendered too much. Do not call protection abandonment. Do not call pruning cruelty. Do not call deliverance failure. Do not call a divine no proof that you were not loved. My no was not the absence of love. My no was love standing guard. My no was not punishment for your desire. My no was mercy refusing to let desire become your master. My no was not the sound of heaven turning away from you. My no was the sound of my hand closing what your heart was, too wounded, too hopeful, too attached, or too tender to close by itself. My beloved child, when I remove something, do not always assume I removed it because it had no value. There are things that carry beauty and danger at the same time. There are connections that have warmth but not holiness. There are opportunities that have increased but not peace. There are places that may recognize your gift while slowly draining your soul. There are people who can speak kindly to your pain while still leading your heart away from clarity. There are doors that are not worthless, but they are not right for you. There are paths that may look successful to others, but I know what they would require from the secret place of your spirit. I know what they would ask you to ignore. I know what they would train you to tolerate. I know what they would awaken in you that I am trying to heal. So when I close a door, it is not always because there was nothing good beyond it. Sometimes I close it because hidden danger was attached to the good you could see. Sometimes I close it because the part that attracted you was only the surface, and beneath the surface there was a weight your soul was not meant to carry. Sometimes I close it because you were beginning to confuse access with approval, attention with love, movement with confirmation, and emotional relief with peace. My child, not everything that becomes available to you has been assigned to you. Not everything that responds to your longing has been sent by me. Not everything that feels like an answer will produce the fruit of my spirit in you. Mercy is not always gentle to the thing that would have harmed you. Mercy may look like interruption. Mercy may sound like silence. Mercy may feel like loss while it is happening. Mercy may remove what you were praying to keep, not because I delight in taking, but because I delight in saving. A surgeon's hand may wound the flesh to remove what is dangerous, yet the wound is not hatred. A gardener may cut away what is growing in the wrong direction, yet the pruning is not rejection of the branch. A father may stop a child from running toward what the child cannot understand, and the stopping may bring tears, yet the tears do not mean the father was unloving. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3:5-6. Do you hear me, my child? I did not ask you to trust only when you understand. I did not ask you to acknowledge me only when the path feels open. I did not ask you to lean on your own understanding and then bring me what your understanding cannot solve. I asked for your whole heart, even when your heart is confused. I asked for your ways, even when one of those ways has been blocked. I asked you to let me direct your paths, not merely bless the path you already chose. This is where trust begins again. It begins when you admit that understanding is not the same as safety. It begins when you stop demanding a full explanation before you allow me to be good. It begins when you say, Father, I do not see the danger, but you do. I do not understand the timing, but you do. I do not know why this door closed, but I will not call your protection abandonment. I will not let pain become my interpreter. I will not let disappointment rename your mercy. Be still, my beloved child. Let the ache breathe, but do not let it rule. Let the tears fall, but do not let them testify falsely against me. I was not absent when the door closed. I was near. I was guarding. I was directing. And though your heart felt loss in the moment, my love was already standing at the end of the road, preventing a sorrow you could not yet see. My beloved child, I heard the prayer you prayed. I heard the words you spoke when no one else was in the room. I heard you ask me to open it. I heard you fast for it. I heard you wait for it. I heard the way your voice trembled when you said, Lord, if this is from you, make a way. I heard the surrender you tried to offer, even while your heart secretly hoped the answer would still be yes. And when the door closed, I heard the question that rose inside you, even when you were afraid to say it plainly. Did my faith fail? Did I miss you? Did I pray wrongly? Did I not believe enough? Did you hear me at all? I heard you, my child. I heard every prayer. But I also heard what you could not hear. I heard the conversations behind the door. I heard the motives that were not revealed to you. I heard the instability beneath the invitation. I heard the pride hidden under the promise. I heard the timing that was not ready. I heard the trap that was dressed like opportunity. I heard the future pain that would have spoken your name if I had allowed you to enter. You were praying from the entrance, but I was listening from the end. You were asking according to what you could see, but I was answering according to what I knew. Do not think I dismissed your desire because I was careless with your heart. I am not cruel because I denied what you wanted. I am Father enough to refuse what would have broken your peace. I am Father enough to close what would have pressured your purity. I am Father enough to interrupt what would have weakened your calling. I am Father enough to stand between you and something that would have slowly trained you to forget who you are in me. There are things that look like answers because they match your longing, but they do not match your destiny. There are doors that feel like reward because they soothe a wound, but they would have reopened another wound deeper inside you. You saw the part that comforted you. I saw the part that would have confused you. You saw the attention, the possibility, the movement, the open hand, the words that seemed to understand your ache. I saw the pressure that would have followed. I saw the compromise that would have been explained away. I saw the small warnings you would have silenced because you were afraid to lose what you had prayed to receive. I saw how easily your peace would have become negotiable. I saw how your conviction would have been quieted by affection, by success, by approval, by the fear of starting over again. My child, what comes from me will not require you to lose your peace in order to keep it. What comes from me will not ask you to abandon wisdom and call it faith. What comes from me will not demand that you ignore warning signs and call it patience. What comes from me will not compete with me for the throne of your heart. What comes from me may stretch you, but it will not corrupt you. It may challenge you, but it will not lead you away from holiness. It may require courage, but it will not require you to betray the voice of my Spirit within you. This is why I want you to remember the uneasiness you tried to explain away. Remember the lack of rest you kept calling overthinking. Remember the heaviness that came after the conversation ended. Remember how your spirit could not settle, even while your emotions still wanted the door to open. Not every absence of peace is fear. Not every inner pause is insecurity. Sometimes the absence of peace is instruction. Sometimes the restraint in your spirit is my mercy speaking before your mind can form the sentence. Sometimes I trouble what you are trying to accept because I am guarding what you are about to surrender. As it is written, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. Do you see, my beloved child? My peace does not merely decorate your life. My peace guards. My peace stands watch over the heart. My peace keeps the mind from being carried into places where confusion becomes normal and compromise becomes familiar. When I give peace, it is not always loud, but it is holy. It steadies. It protects. It brings the heart back into alignment with me. And when peace was absent, when your heart had to keep convincing itself, when your mind had to keep defending what your spirit could not rest in, that was not something to dismiss. That was something to bring before me. I did not close the door because your prayer was worthless. I closed it because your prayer was precious, and I would not answer it in a way that destroyed the one who prayed. I did not ignore your fasting. I received it. I did not despise your waiting. I was with you in it. But my answer was not only shaped by your longing, it was shaped by my love. And love does not give a child a stone, because the child cannot yet tell the difference between hunger and danger. Love does not hand over what will become a chain, simply because the child calls it a blessing. So now, I am teaching you to hear me above emotional intensity. I am teaching you that a strong feeling is not always a clear direction. I am teaching you that desire must bow before discernment, that longing must come into the light, that every door must be tested by fruit, by peace, by purity, by wisdom, by whether it draws you nearer to me or slowly divides your heart. The closed door was not only an event, my child, it was a lesson. It was my hand training your ear. It was my mercy teaching you to recognize the difference between what merely awakens emotion and what truly comes from me. Be still now. I heard the prayer you prayed, and I also heard the danger you could not hear. My beloved child, not every open door comes from me. Not every entrance that becomes available has been assigned by my hand. Not every opportunity that arrives with brightness carries my presence within it. There are doors that open because timing has aligned, but there are also doors that open because desire has been stirred without wisdom. There are doors that open because someone wants access to you, but that does not mean I have given them permission to shape you. There are doors that open because the enemy knows what your heart has been waiting for, and he dresses a distraction in the clothing of an answer. Do not measure a door only by whether it opens. Measure it by what it produces in you when you stand before me. Does it produce peace, or does it produce a restless need to keep proving, explaining, hiding, and chasing? Does it produce purity, or does it quietly train you to excuse what I have already asked you to surrender? Does it produce humility, or does it feed pride, ambition, comparison, and the fear of being unseen? Does it draw you nearer to my presence, or does it make prayer feel inconvenient, obedience feel heavy, and conviction feel like an interruption to what you want? What comes from me will carry peace, purity, order, humility, truth, and nearness to my presence. Remember this, my child. What comes from me will carry peace, purity, order, humility, truth, and nearness to my presence. It may require courage, but it will not require confusion as the price of entry. It may stretch you, but it will not pull you into secrecy. It may challenge you, but it will not make compromise feel necessary. It may arrive differently than you expected, but it will not ask you to become less honest, less prayerful, less guarded, less surrendered, or less clear before me. There are relationships that open like answers, yet they begin pulling your heart into dependence. There are jobs that open with increase, yet they quietly demand your peace, your integrity, your family, your rest, your devotion, and the soft place in you where you still hear my voice. There are invitations that flatter your gift, yet they do not honor your spirit. There are ministries that give you visibility, yet they awaken, striving more than obedience. There are friendships that feel comforting, yet they keep you in agreement with wounds I am trying to heal. There are business offers that sound wise, yet they require haste, pressure, secrecy, and fear. There are emotional attachments that feel powerful, yet they begin to rule your choices more than my spirit does. Slow down, test the door, ask again, return to me. Do not be afraid to pause when everything around you says hurry. Haste is often where discernment becomes dull. Pressure is often where warning signs are ignored. Fear of missing out is often where my children begin to call urgency confirmation. But I do not need confusion to guide you. I do not need panic to bless you. I do not need manipulation to position you. What I give can withstand prayer. What I send can stand in the light. What comes from me will not collapse because you ask, Father, is this truly from you? As it is written, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God. 1 John 4:1. Do you see, my child? I did not tell you to believe every voice because it sounded kind. I did not tell you to follow every pull because it felt strong. I did not tell you to accept every promise because it touched an old ache. Test what is speaking. Test what is pulling. Test what is promising. Test what is demanding. Test the fruit of the door before you give it the authority to shape your future. Some doors promise belonging but demand that you abandon yourself. Some doors promise love but require that you silence conviction. Some doors promise elevation but train you to depend on human approval. Some doors promise healing but keep reopening the wound. Some doors promise peace but only give relief when you are being chosen, noticed, pursued, invited, affirmed, or needed. My child, relief is not always peace. Attention is not always love. Opportunity is not always assignment. Access is not always blessing. I am not teaching you suspicion so that your heart becomes hard. I am teaching you discernment so that your heart remains holy. I am not asking you to fear every open door. I am asking you to bring every open door into my light. Bring the relationship. Bring the job. Bring the invitation. Bring the ministry. Bring the friendship. Bring the offer. Bring the attachment. Bring the feeling that seems too strong to question. Bring the thing you are afraid I may ask you to release. Bring it before me without defending it, without decorating it, without hiding the parts that trouble you. Let me show you what is inside it. For an open door is not proven by access. It is proven by the fruit it produces in the heart before me. If it makes you secretive, pause. If it makes you anxious, pause. If it makes you compromise, pause. If it makes you fear losing approval more than you fear grieving my spirit, pause. If it makes you cling, beg, chase, perform, or silence the wisdom I have placed within you, pause. Return. Ask again. I am not offended by your carefulness. I am honored when you trust me enough to test what your emotions want to accept quickly. And if I close the door after it opened, do not think I change my mind carelessly. Sometimes I allow you to see a door so you can learn what still pulls you. Sometimes I allow you to approach something so I can reveal what it awakens in you. Sometimes I let the surface become visible so that the hidden thing can be exposed before it binds you. And sometimes, my beloved child, I close what you were too wounded, too hopeful, too tired, too lonely, or too tender to close by yourself. I saw the way you kept trying to make peace with what disturbed you. I saw the way you minimized the warning because you did not want to begin again. I saw the way your heart said, maybe this is enough, even when your spirit knew something was not clean, not settled, not aligned, not mine. So I stepped in. I closed what your hands could not release. I interrupted what your emotions kept defending. I guarded what your longing was about to surrender. And though it hurt, my child, it was mercy. It was protection. It was my love teaching you that not every open door comes from me, and that what truly comes from me will never pull you away from me. My beloved child, I know why you kept reaching. I know why you stayed longer than others thought you should have stayed. I know why you explained away what disturbed you, why you waited after peace had already begun to leave, why you forgave again and again, why you searched for the purest possible meaning behind actions that kept wounding you. You did not want to misjudge anyone. You did not want to be harsh. You did not want to close your heart too quickly. You did not want to call something wrong if there was still a chance it could become right. I saw the sincerity in you. I saw the tenderness. I saw the part of you that would rather suffer quietly than accuse another person unfairly. I do not condemn you for having a tender heart. A heart that knows how to love is not weakness. A heart that gives room, shows mercy, hopes patiently, and believes that people can change is precious before me. I am not rebuking you for compassion. I am not asking you to become hard, suspicious, bitter, or cold. I am not training you to shut every door because one door wounded you, but I am teaching you that tenderness must be guarded by wisdom, because unguarded tenderness can become a doorway for confusion, repeated injury, and attachments that slowly pull you away from my peace. There is a difference between love and unguarded access. There is a difference between mercy and allowing what continues to damage you to remain close enough to shape your spirit. There is a difference between patience and negotiating with what I have already warned you about. My child, you can forgive without reopening the gate. You can bless without returning to bondage. You can pray for someone without giving them the authority to disturb your inner life again and again. You can remain soft before me while becoming firm about what no longer has permission to enter your heart. As it is written, keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Do you see, my beloved child, I did not say, harden your heart. I did not say, bury your heart. I did not say, hide your heart in fear and never love again. I said, keep it, guard it, watch over it with diligence, not because your heart is worthless, but because it is valuable. Not because love is dangerous, but because everything that wants access to love is not clean. Not because you should live in fear, but because what flows from your heart touches your decisions, your peace, your discernment, your worship, your future, and the way you hear me. A precious garden must have a holy fence, not because the garden is afraid of being a garden, but because what is growing there is valuable. Fruit does not apologize for being protected. Seeds do not become less alive because there is a boundary around them. Flowers do not become less beautiful because the gate is not open to every foot that wants to walk through. My child, your heart is not a public road for every emotion, every voice, every need, every apology, every promise, every familiar pattern, and every person who knows how to move you. Your heart is a place I am cultivating. Your peace is a place I am guarding. Your tenderness is a place I am sanctifying. So, when I closed that door, I was not despising your love. I was protecting the place where love grows. When I ended the conversation that kept pulling you back into confusion, I was not being cruel. When I weakened the connection that you kept trying to revive, I was not being careless. When I delayed the contract, blocked the approval, removed the invitation, exposed the truth, or allowed distance to enter what you kept trying to hold together, I was not abandoning you. I was closing what your heart was too tender to release. I was stepping between you and the harm you kept negotiating with because you wanted to believe the best. You kept saying, maybe it will change. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe if I am more patient, more gentle, more available, more forgiving, more silent, more useful, more understanding, then this will finally become peaceful. But I saw what the repeated cycle was doing to you. I saw how much of your strength was being spent managing what should have been honest. I saw how much of your prayer life was becoming consumed with confusion. I saw how often you had to recover your peace after contact. I saw how you began to call anxiety, love, pressure, loyalty, inconsistency, mystery, and emotional exhaustion sacrifice. My beloved child, I value your soul more than the attachment. I value your peace more than the possibility you were afraid to lose. I value your purity more than the approval you wanted to keep. I value your future more than the temporary comfort of staying near what was familiar. There are times when I will close what you cannot close because I know you would keep bargaining with pain if pain came dressed in memory, affection, opportunity, or hope. There are times when I will interrupt the pattern because you have confused endurance with obedience. There are times when I will allow the truth to become undeniable because you were still trying to make excuses for what was draining life from you. Do not call that boundary loveless. Do not call that ending failure. Do not call that distance pride. Do not call that closed door proof that your heart was wrong for loving. Your heart was not wrong for being tender, but it needed to be taught where tenderness ends and surrender begins. It needed to learn that guarding your heart is not the opposite of love. It is love brought under wisdom. It is compassion without self-abandonment. It is mercy without bondage. It is kindness that still knows how to obey me. Now be still, because there is another layer I must show you. The door hurt deeply, not only because something ended, not only because the connection weakened, not only because the opportunity disappeared, but because that door was tied to a version of you I am healing. It touched how you saw yourself. It touched what you thought you needed in order to feel chosen, safe, valuable, or seen. And until you understand that, you may keep grieving the door when I am trying to heal the identity that was attached to it. My beloved child, that door was tied to a version of you I am healing. It was not only connected to a plan, a person, an opportunity, a place, or a future you imagined. It was connected to the part of you that still believed you needed that door to prove something about your worth. It touched the part of you that wondered if being chosen there would finally quiet the fear of being overlooked. It touched the part of you that thought, if this works, then I will know I am wanted. I will know I am moving forward. I will know my waiting was not wasted. I will know I am not behind. I will know I am not forgotten. I do not condemn you for wanting to be chosen, but I will not let your identity depend on a door I never ordained to carry you. I do not condemn you for wanting belonging, but I will not let belonging become a place where you abandon yourself. I do not condemn you for wanting safety, but I will not let you call something safe simply because it feels familiar to an old wound. I do not condemn you for wanting proof that your life still has promise, but I will not allow your promise to be measured by the approval of what could not keep your peace. The pain of that rejection revealed more than the loss itself. It revealed the wound underneath the desire. It revealed the fear that if they did not choose you, no one would. It revealed the fear that if this door did not open, nothing good would come again. It revealed the fear of starting over, the fear of being delayed, the fear of watching others enter rooms while you stood outside with questions in your hands. It revealed the ache that said, maybe I am too late, maybe I missed my moment, maybe I am always the one who almost receives, almost belongs, almost enters, almost gets chosen. My child, I heard those fears before you had language for them. I saw them long before the door closed. I saw how much weight you placed upon something that was never meant to hold the full burden of your identity. I saw how quickly your heart began to rise and fall with every sign, every message, every shift, every silence, every small movement that seemed to say yes or no. I saw how you began to interpret delay as rejection, distance as failure, uncertainty as proof that you were not enough. And because I love you, I would not only close the door, I would bring healing to the place in you that made that door feel like your last hope. Do you see, my beloved child? I am not merely redirecting your path, I am restoring your inner life. I am not merely moving you away from what was wrong for you. I am healing the part of you that would have accepted anxiety as love, striving as purpose, instability as opportunity, and emotional exhaustion as proof that something mattered. I am healing the part of you that kept confusing being needed with being loved, being pursued with being valued, being busy with being fruitful, being noticed with being called. I am healing the part of you that thought peace must be sacrificed in order to keep a place. As it is written, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. My beloved child, truth may hurt when it first enters the wound. Truth may feel like loss when it removes the illusion you were leaning upon. Truth may expose what comfort tried to cover, but truth breaks chains that comfort could not break. Truth frees you from begging for what was never assigned to bless you. Truth frees you from calling every closed door a verdict against your worth. Truth frees you from needing the thing that wounded you to come back and explain your value. There are comforts that keep you bound because they soothe you without healing you. There are hopes that keep you circling because they promise relief without requiring surrender. There are attachments that make you feel less alone for a moment, yet keep you afraid of being whole without them. But when my truth comes, it does not flatter the wound, it frees the child. It tells you, you are not rejected because a door closed. You are not unwanted because a person left. You are not behind because a path ended. You are not empty because an opportunity disappeared. You are mine, and what belongs to you and me will not require you to lose yourself to keep it. This is the transformation I am working within you. You are moving from chasing every sign to testing every spirit. You are moving from begging doors to open to trusting my timing when they close. You are moving from panic to guarded tenderness, from desperation to discernment, from proving yourself to resting in what I have spoken over you. You are learning to pause before you attach. You are learning to ask before you enter. You are learning to bring your longing into my presence before you hand it authority over your decisions. You are learning that a tender heart can also be a wise heart, and a loving soul can still obey my peace. Do not despise this healing because it began through disappointment. Do not run from the lesson because it touched an old ache. I am not exposing the wound to shame you. I am exposing it to heal you. I am not showing you your fear so you will hate yourself. I am showing you your fear so you will no longer be led by it. I am not removing the false support so you will collapse. I am removing it so you will learn that I have been your foundation all along. So let the door remain closed, and let me speak to the identity that trembled when it closed. Let me speak to the child in you that still waits to be picked. Let me speak to the part of you that still believes love must be earned, peace must be chased, and worth must be proven by access. I am making you whole in places you learned to hide. I am strengthening what grief revealed. I am teaching you to stand without clinging, to love without losing yourself, to hope without surrendering discernment. And now, my beloved child, you must learn what comes after the closing. You must learn that the quiet space is not proof that nothing is happening. You must learn that delay is not emptiness, hiddenness is not abandonment, and the season after a closed door is not punishment. It is preparation. It is where I restore your discernment before I reveal the next step. My beloved child, the empty space after the door closes can feel strange to your heart. It can feel as though the sound of the closing is still echoing, but no new sound has come to answer it. You look behind you and see what ended. You look ahead and do not yet see what I am forming. You feel suspended between grief and promise, between what I removed and what I have not yet revealed, between the ache of letting go and the fear that nothing better is coming. I know that place. I know the quiet that follows surrender. I know the silence that makes you wonder whether I have spoken and then stepped away. I know the questions that rise when the door is shut, the room is empty, the messages stop, the opportunity passes, the relationship fades, and your heart asks, "Father, what now?" But hear me, my beloved child. The empty space is not punishment. It is preparation. The silence is not proof that I have forgotten you. The pause is not evidence that you have been abandoned. The secret place is not where you are forgotten. It is where you are covered. It is where I hide you from what would rush you before you are whole. It is where I quiet the noise that trained you to confuse movement with progress. It is where I let the dust settle so that you can see clearly again. It is where I restore the parts of your discernment that became tired from explaining, hoping, chasing, defending, and trying to make peace with what kept disturbing your spirit. Do not despise the space where nothing appears to be happening. There are seasons when I close a door and do not immediately open another, not because I have run out of ways to bless you, but because your heart needs rest before it can enter rightly. Your spirit needs to detox from the anxiety of the last season. Your mind needs to stop rehearsing old conversations. Your body needs to stop living in alertness. Your emotions need to learn peace again without depending on the thing that once controlled their rising and falling. Your discernment needs to be washed from the fog of attachment. Your roots need to go deeper in me before your branches stretch wider in the next assignment. If I opened another door too quickly, you might carry the same wound into a new place and call the new place the problem. You might bring old fear into fresh promise. You might bring suspicion where wisdom is needed, or dependence where trust is needed, or haste where patience is needed. So I slow you down. I cover you. I teach you to sit with me without demanding immediate evidence. I teach you that you are still loved when nothing is opening. I teach you that you are still called when no one is applauding. I teach you that your life still has direction, even when the next step is hidden from your eyes. As it is written, let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap, if we faint not. Galatians 6:9. Do you see, my child? I did not say the harvest would come at the hour your anxiety demands. I said there is a due season. There is an appointed time. There is a moment when what has been sown in tears, obedience, surrender, hidden faithfulness, and quiet trust will rise with life. But do not faint in the hidden place. Do not grow weary because the door is closed and the field looks bare. Do not stop doing good because no visible reward has appeared. Keep your heart clean. Keep your hands faithful. Keep your spirit near me. Keep choosing truth when no one sees. Keep releasing what I closed. Keep walking in obedience when the path is not yet fully shown. For I direct paths in more ways than one. You have often thought I guide only by opening the way in front of you, but I also guide by stopping the way that would lead you away from my will. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Proverbs 3:5 and 6. My beloved child, direction is not only a door swinging open. Direction can be a door that will not move, no matter how hard you push. Direction can be the loss of desire for what once pulled you. Direction can be the removal of access. Direction can be the delay that frustrates your plans but saves your future. Direction can be the quiet conviction that says, not this way, not now, not with them, not in that spirit, not at the cost of your peace. Do not call the waiting season proof that the closed door was your last opportunity. That is fear speaking, not truth. I am not limited to what left. I am not dependent on what rejected you. I am not bound to the timing of what disappointed you. What I have for you does not die because one door closed. What I am preparing does not disappear because you cannot see it yet. I am making the foundation stronger before the next assignment. I am teaching your heart to stand in me before I entrust you with what requires steadiness. I am making you deeper before I make you wider. I am building roots that will not be torn up by the first storm, the first delay, the first misunderstanding, the first temptation to return to what once broke your peace. So rest in the covered place. Let the silence become holy instead of frightening. Let the empty space become a room where I restore you. Let me remove the residue of what you survived. Let me rebuild your appetite for peace. Let me teach you the difference between loneliness and readiness, between stillness and stagnation, between waiting and being forgotten. You are not being punished in this pause. You are being prepared in it. You are not being erased in the hidden place. You are being formed there. And soon, my child, I will show you that this has always been my way. Many of those I loved, called, guarded, and prepared in Scripture were protected by closed doors, painful separations, delays, blocked paths, and seasons where the way forward seemed unclear. What looked like interruption was often instruction. What looked like denial was often direction. What looked like loss was often the very mercy that carried them toward purpose. Do you see, my beloved child? I have always known how to protect through closed doors. Do you see, my beloved child, how I have always protected through closed doors? Do you see how many times in my word the way that seemed blocked was not the end of purpose, but the path by which purpose was guided into the place I had already appointed? I have never been confused by a closed door. I have never been defeated by a delay. I have never looked at a blocked road and wondered what I would do next. What troubles your heart does not trouble my throne. What feels sudden to you has already been held in my wisdom. What looks like interruption to your eyes may be the very instrument I am using to move you away from harm and toward promise. Look at Abraham, my child. I called him, I led him, I spoke promise over him, yet there came a moment when an attachment had to separate before his vision could become clear. Abraham and Lot had walked together, but the land could not carry the weight of both directions. Strife began among the herdsmen. Tension entered the place that was supposed to be promise. And when Lot lifted up his eyes and chose the plain of Jordan, it may have looked like Abraham was losing something. It may have looked like separation, reduction, and uncertainty. But after Lot departed from him, I said to Abraham, "Lift up now thine eyes, and look from the place where thou art northward, and southward, and eastward, and westward. For all the land which thou seest, to thee will I give it." Genesis 13. Do you see, my beloved child? There are promises that become clearer after certain attachments are released. There are visions I do not fully unfold while your heart is still divided by what I am asking you to release. There are times when I do not show you the width of the land until the relationship, the dependency, the familiar companionship, or the shared direction has moved out of the way. It was not that Lot had to become an enemy for Abraham to obey me. It was that Abraham could not keep walking under every old arrangement and still enter the full clarity of what I had spoken. Separation was painful, but it became a window. The departure made room for sight. The closed door opened Abraham's eyes to the promise that had never left him. Look also at Joseph. The pit looked like rejection. The sale into Egypt looked like betrayal. The false accusation looked like injustice. The prison looked like a door slammed shut against his life, his calling, and the dreams I had given him. If Joseph had judged his story by each moment alone, he could have said, "I am finished. My brothers have closed the door. Potiphar's house has closed the door. The accusation has closed the door. The prison has closed the door." But I was working beneath what he could see. I was moving him, guarding him, shaping him, and positioning him. The pit moved him away from the destruction that was in his brother's hatred. Egypt moved him toward the place where his gift would be needed. The prison placed him near the cupbearer. The delay brought him before Pharaoh at the appointed time. Do you see, my child? A closed door in one place may be transportation in my hand. What looks like burial may be movement. What looks like confinement may be preparation. What looks like humiliation may be the corridor through which I preserve your future. Joseph did not understand every step while he was walking through it, but later he could say, "Ye thought evil against me, but God meant it unto good." Genesis 50:20. I did not author the evil of those who betrayed him, but I governed the story with mercy stronger than their malice. I took what tried to bury him and used it to position him. So do not assume that the pit means I have abandoned the dream. Do not assume that the prison means the promise has died. There are doors I allow to close because I am moving you toward a purpose that requires my timing, not your panic. And look at Paul in Acts 16. He was not lazy. He was not rebellious. He was not without calling. He was moving with zeal, carrying the gospel, desiring to serve, desiring to go, desiring to preach. Yet it is written that they were forbidden of the Holy Ghost to preach the word in Asia, and when they tried to go into Bithynia, the Spirit suffered them not. My child, even a good desire must bow to my direction. Even a holy assignment must move according to my timing. Paul was not being rejected when the Spirit blocked those paths. His calling was not canceled because a road would not open. Macedonia was waiting, but Macedonia required the right moment, the right direction, the right obedience, and the right sensitivity to my voice. Do you see? Not every closed door means you are wrong, worthless, or forgotten. Sometimes a door closes because I am preventing you from spending strength where I have not appointed fruit. Sometimes I block a direction not because the desire is evil, but because the timing is not mine. Sometimes I restrain your steps because another place is waiting for the obedience that only comes after surrender. Paul could have forced the road. He could have mistaken resistance for warfare and kept pushing. But when he listened, a vision came, a man of Macedonia saying, "Come over and help us." There are times when I will close several doors to make the right door unmistakable. There are times when my no is not rejection, but redirection toward the cry I have prepared you to answer. And remember the Red Sea, my beloved child. Israel came out of Egypt by my hand, yet they found themselves standing before water with Pharaoh behind them. In front of them was an impossible sea. Behind them was the sound of the enemy. Around them was fear. To the natural eye, it looked as though I had led them into a trap, as though the path of deliverance had become a blocked road. But what looked like a closed way became the place where I revealed a way no human hand could make. I told Moses to stretch out his hand over the sea, and the waters divided. The place that looked impossible became the passage of deliverance. The road no man could build became the road I opened by my power. Do you see, my child? Sometimes I bring you to a place where there is no human door, so you will know that your deliverance did not come from human strength. Sometimes I let every visible option close, so that the way I make will bear the mark of my hand. The Red Sea was not evidence that I had failed Israel. It was the stage where I revealed that I am Lord over what blocks the path. I can open what no one can open. I can divide what no one can divide. I can make a way where fear said there was no way, and I can also close what no one should force open. As it is written, these things saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that hath the key of David, he that openeth, and no man shutteth, and shutteth, and no man openeth. Revelation 3:7. My beloved child, hear this with peace. A door closed under my authority is not failure. It is divine government. It is not proof that your life has been abandoned to chance. It is proof that your steps are still under my rule. If I open, no one can shut what I have ordained. If I shut, no one can open what I have closed in wisdom. You do not need to exhaust yourself fighting my mercy. You do not need to beg for access to what I have already judged, unfit for your peace, your purity, your healing, or your future. Therefore, look again at your closed door through the witness of my word. Abraham saw more clearly after separation. Joseph moved toward purpose through doors that looked like rejection. Paul was redirected by the Spirit through blocked paths. Israel met my power at the place that looked impossible. Do you see, my beloved child? I have always used blocked roads, separations, delays, and impossible places to protect, redirect, reveal, and prepare those I love. So, stop calling your closed door strange when it carries the pattern of my faithfulness. Stop believing that mercy must always feel gentle in the moment it arrives. Stop asking fear to interpret what only my Spirit can explain. You can stop begging me to reopen what I closed in mercy. You can stop standing at the threshold of what broke your peace, asking why it will not welcome you again. If I closed it, let it remain closed. If I shut it, trust my hand. If I blocked it, believe I saw farther than you did. And if I am leading you forward, then walk with me, because the same God who closes in protection also opens in perfect time. My beloved child, stop knocking on what I closed in mercy. Stop standing before the same door with wounded hands, asking it to become safe after I have already shown you what was behind it. Stop returning to the place where your peace disappeared and calling it faithfulness. Stop replaying every moment, every message, every conversation, every sign, and every silence, as though enough searching will make my warning disappear. I know the temptation to look back. I know the ache that says, maybe I misunderstood, maybe I should try again. Maybe if I wait longer, speak softer, explain better, prove more, give more, endure more, the door will open and become what I hoped it would be. I do not rebuke you for missing what was familiar, but I am asking you not to rebuild what I removed to save you. I do not condemn you for grieving what you imagined. I do not condemn you for having tenderness toward something that once felt meaningful. I do not condemn you for remembering the good moments, the hopeful beginnings, the small signs that made your heart believe something beautiful was possible. But beloved, you must not let memory become a tool that edits out truth. You must not let longing repaint what I exposed. You must not let loneliness persuade you to return to a place where your spirit could not rest. There are doors that should not be forced open again. When your peace disappears every time you approach it, pay attention. When prayer becomes restless instead of settled, pay attention. When your dignity is lowered just to keep access, pay attention. When conviction must be ignored in order for the connection to continue, pay attention. When clarity becomes confusion, when freedom becomes pressure, when tenderness becomes torment, when you must abandon yourself to remain welcome, my child. Do not call that a door I am asking you to enter. What comes from me will not require you to silence the very spirit I placed within you. What comes from me will not demand that you become smaller, weaker, more anxious, more hidden, and more divided in order to keep it. You have tried to bargain with what I have closed. You have said in your heart, if only one more conversation happens, if only one more opportunity comes, if only one more sign appears, if only I can explain what I meant, if only they understand my heart, if only the timing changes, then maybe the door will be different. But my beloved child, a door does not become holy because you are attached to it. A door does not become mine because you fear losing it. A door does not become safe because the thought of releasing it hurts. Some things I close because they were quietly training you to live beneath the peace I purchased for you. Do not spend your strength trying to resurrect what I have already asked you to lay down. Do not keep pushing against my mercy until your hands bleed and your heart becomes bitter. Do not confuse persistence with obedience when I have already spoken. There is a kind of knocking that is faith, and there is a kind of knocking that is refusal to surrender. There is a kind of waiting that honors me, and there is a kind of waiting that keeps you tied to what I told you to release. There is a kind of hope that comes from my promise, and there is a kind of hope that is only fear dressed in spiritual language. Release is not defeat. Surrender is not proof that you failed. Letting go of a closed door is not you admitting that your life is over, that your dream was foolish, that your heart was wrong to desire good things, or that nothing better will come. Releasing what I closed is agreement with my wisdom. It is your spirit saying, Father, you see farther than I do. It is your heart saying, I will not make an idol out of what you removed. It is your obedience saying, I trust the hand that shut this door more than I trust the ache that wants it open again. As it is written, and thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left. Isaiah 30:21. My child, you will hear the way to walk when you stop demanding that the old door open. You will hear my direction more clearly when your hands are no longer gripping the handle of what I closed. You will hear the whisper of my spirit when your heart stops arguing with my protection. I am not silent because I have nothing to say. Sometimes, you cannot hear the next instruction because grief is still negotiating with the last one. So bring me the checking, bring me the replaying, bring me the urge to look again, ask again, force again, prove again, return again. Bring me the part of you that still wonders whether surrender means losing. Bring me the part of you that fears there will be nothing after this. I will not shame you for the trembling of your hands, but I will steady them. I will not mock you for the tears in your release, but I will gather them. I will not condemn you for needing time, but I will call you forward in truth. If your heart is ready, write beneath this message, I release what God closed, and I receive His protection. Let it be more than words. Let it be agreement. Let it be a boundary. Let it be a holy turning of your heart away from the door that broke your peace and toward the God who kept your future. Say it until your soul stops arguing with mercy. Say it until your obedience becomes stronger than your nostalgia. Say it until the old door no longer has permission to decide the condition of your heart. And as you release, beloved, room will come, breath will come, clarity will come, peace will begin to return to places where anxiety had built its throne. You will no longer spend your strength begging for access to what drained you. You will no longer call confusion love, or pressure purpose, or restlessness confirmation. You will begin to understand that my no was not the end of my goodness. It was the clearing of the path. It was the guarding of your heart. It was the closing of what could not carry you into the fullness I have prepared. Walk away from the door with me. Leave the handle in my hands. Let the threshold remain behind you. I am not leading you into emptiness. I am leading you into a spacious place. I am making room for what is cleaner, freer, steadier, and more aligned with my peace. What I closed in mercy, do not reopen in fear. What I removed to protect you, do not rebuild in loneliness. Come with me, my beloved child, because release is making room for the place I have been preparing all along. I am bringing you into a spacious place, my beloved child. The closed door is not the end of movement. It is not the end of love. It is not the end of purpose, provision, joy, companionship, fruitfulness, or holy expectation. Do not let the sound of one door closing convince you that your whole future has gone silent. Do not let one ending become the voice that prophesies over all your tomorrows. I have not brought you this far to leave you standing forever at a threshold of grief. I have been loosening your hands from what could not carry you because I am preparing your steps for what will not require you to abandon your peace in order to enter. As it is written, He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because He delighted in me. Psalm 18:19. Hear that slowly, my child. I do not only deliver because there is danger behind you. I deliver because there is delight in my heart toward you. I bring you out because I love you. I bring you forth because I have not forgotten the room your soul needs to breathe. I bring you into a large place, a broad place, a place where your spirit is not cramped by fear, where your joy is not strangled by uncertainty, where your obedience is not constantly fighting against confusion, where your tenderness can live without being trampled by what never learned how to honor it. The spacious place will not feel like the prison you left. What comes from me will not require panic as proof of passion. It will not require begging as proof of loyalty. It will not require secrecy as proof of depth. It will not require you to lose your identity in order to keep access. It will not demand that you become divided, hidden, restless, or afraid. My blessing does not need manipulation to remain. My timing does not need your control to arrive. My love does not ask you to silence conviction in order to be chosen. My purpose does not compete with your devotion to me, because what I give will draw you nearer to my heart, not farther from it. There is a peace that guards, and I am teaching you to recognize it. As it is written, the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. Philippians 4:7. That peace is not always the absence of challenge, but it is the presence of my keeping. It steadies you when the path is demanding. It does not torment you with endless suspicion. It does not make you beg for crumbs of clarity. It does not make you spiritually numb so you can tolerate what I am warning you about. What comes from me may stretch your faith, but it will not destroy your soul. What comes from me may require courage, but it will not require the sacrifice of purity. What comes from me may ask for patience, but it will not make you live in constant disorder, striving, and unrest. I am bringing you into a place where wisdom steadies you before emotion carries you away. I am bringing you into a place where love honors you instead of consuming you, where purpose strengthens your obedience instead of pulling you from prayer, where relationships sharpen your spirit instead of draining your discernment, where timing teaches trust instead of tempting you to manipulate. I am bringing you into a cleaner place, not because everything will be easy, but because the fruit will be different. You will know the difference between a door that flatters your longing and a door that carries my peace. You will know the difference between attention that excites your wound and love that honors your healing. You will know the difference between urgency that pressures and calling that confirms. And beloved, the pain of the closed door will not be wasted. I have collected every tear from that place. I have seen every moment when you wondered why you were not chosen, why the door would not open, why your sincere heart was met with confusion, delay, silence, or refusal. I will use even this. I will use what hurt you to sharpen your discernment. I will use what disappointed you to deepen your trust. I will use what humbled you to make you gentler without making you gullible, stronger without making you hard, wiser without making you suspicious of every good gift. I am not wasting the ache. I am forming sight within it. I am turning the wound into wisdom. I am teaching your heart how to recognize peace when it comes. You will love more wisely. You will choose more peacefully. You will wait more calmly. You will walk more firmly. You will no longer run toward every open door simply because it opens. You will no longer mistake intensity for confirmation or access for assignment. You will pause. You will pray. You will test the fruit. You will listen for my voice, and you will allow my peace to rule in your heart. You will be tender without being easily pulled away. You will be open without being unguarded. You will be hopeful without being hurried. You will be faithful without being bound to what I have already released you from. So lift your eyes, my beloved child. The closed door is behind you, but my goodness is not behind you. The disappointment is real, but it is not final. The grief has spoken loudly, but it does not have the last word. I am the God who shuts in mercy and opens in wisdom. I am the God who delivers because I delight. I am the God who makes room where your heart once felt crowded by fear. Walk with me into the spacious place. Let your breathing slow. Let your hands unclench. Let your soul stop rehearsing the doorway and begin to receive the path. And now, before you move any further, bring it all into my presence. Bring me the closed door. Bring me the unanswered question. Bring me the wounded expectation. Bring me the hope that still aches. Bring me the memory that still pulls. Bring me the future you are afraid to trust me with. Place it before me without hiding, without pretending, without trying to make your heart sound stronger than it feels. I am not asking you to deny the pain. I am asking you to surrender it into my hands, because the God who protected you through the closed door is the same God who will lead you into a wider, cleaner, more peaceful place. Father, I bring my heart before you. I bring the part of me that still trembles when I remember the door that closed. I bring the disappointment I tried to make small. I bring the question I kept hidden. I bring the ache that still rises when I think about what did not happen, who did not stay, what did not open, and what I thought would become part of my future. Calm my heart where it has been racing. Quiet the panic that tells me I am running out of time. Silence the fear that says one closed door means I have been forgotten. Remove the shame I attached to this pain, the shame that made me wonder if I was foolish to hope, foolish to pray, foolish to believe, foolish to care so deeply. Lord, I surrender the story as I understood 5. I surrender the version of the future I tried to protect with my own hands. I surrender the need to know every hidden reason before I choose to trust you. I surrender the desire to force clarity where you are asking for peace. I surrender the arguments of my grief, the bargaining of my longing, the restless thoughts that keep returning to the same threshold. I place the closed door in your hands again. I place the handle in your hands. I place the timing in your hands. I place the unanswered why in your hands. Teach me to be still beneath your wisdom, because you saw what I could not see, you heard what I could not hear, and you guarded what I did not yet know was in danger. Teach me discernment, Father. Teach me the difference between emotional intensity and divine peace. Teach me the difference between something that stirs my feelings and something that carries your spirit. Teach me the difference between opportunity and assignment, between access and approval, between an open door and a holy invitation. Teach me the difference between longing and leading. Do not let me be ruled by urgency. Do not let me mistake anxiety for confirmation. Do not let me follow a thing simply because it excites the wounded places in me. Let your peace become a guard around my heart. Let your word become a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Let my ears hear the word behind me saying, "This is the way, walk ye in it," when I turn to the right hand and when I turn to the left. Heal the places in me that called your protection abandonment. Touch the part of my heart that believed your no was punishment. Touch the wound that interpreted a closed door as proof that I was unwanted, unseen, unchosen, or unworthy. Touch the memory that still aches like rejection. Touch the place where disappointment became agreement with lies. Father, where I said, "You left me," teach me to see that you covered me. Where I said, "You took from me," teach me to see that you rescued me. Where I said, "I lost something necessary," teach me to see that you are preserving something precious. Let truth make me free. Let mercy rewrite the meaning of what pain misnamed. Give me holy boundaries without hardness. Help me guard my heart with diligence, not because I am afraid to love, but because my heart belongs first to you. Teach me to love without losing myself. Teach me to care without surrendering my peace. Teach me to be tender without being easily pulled away, kind without abandoning discernment, open without becoming unguarded, hopeful without being hurried. Let me wait without despair. Let me release without bitterness. Let me remember without returning. Let me bless without binding myself again to what you have closed. Keep me from rebuilding what you removed. Keep me from calling loneliness a reason to disobey. Keep me from knocking again on what your mercy has already shut. And now, with trembling hands, but a surrendered heart, I declare before you, I release what God closed in mercy. I stop calling protection, rejection. I trust the Father who saw ahead. I release the door, the dream as I imagined it, the person, the place, the opportunity, the timing, the explanation, and the version of me that believed I could not be whole unless that door opened. I release what drained my peace. I release what confused my spirit. I release what required me to silence conviction. I release what I tried to keep alive after you had already called me forward. I will not make an idol out of what you removed. I will not call mercy cruel because it hurt my attachment. I will not call your wisdom unkind because it contradicted my desire. I declare that the door, ordained by God, will carry peace, truth, purity, and right timing. What comes from you will not compete with you in my heart. What comes from you will not require me to lose my freedom in order to keep it. What comes from you will not make me smaller, darker, more anxious, more divided, or more distant from your presence. The door you open will be covered by your peace. The path you appoint will be confirmed by your truth. The blessing you give will not demand the sacrifice of purity. The timing you choose will not need my manipulation to arrive. I believe that you open and no man shuts, and you shut and no man opens. I believe your hand is faithful in both. So I receive your protection. I receive your healing. I receive your peace. I receive the spacious place you are preparing. I receive the wisdom formed through what I did not understand. I receive the courage to walk away from what you closed, and the humility to wait for what you will open. Let my heart no longer live at the old threshold. Let my mind no longer rehearse the old disappointment as though it has the final word. Let my soul rise and follow you forward. Father, I trust you with what ended. I trust you with what remains unseen. I trust you with what is coming. I trust you with my heart. Walk in peace, my beloved child. Let the prayer you have offered become the ground beneath your steps. Let surrender become rest in you. Let discernment become light in you. Let release become freedom in you. I am not behind you only. I am before you also. I was with you when the door closed. I am with you in the healing, and I am already present in the place where I am leading you. Walk in peace, my beloved child. I have not failed you. I have protected you. I have heard you. I have kept you. And the path ahead is still held in my faithful hands. Now walk forward, my beloved child, and do not return to the door that broke your peace. Do not turn back to measure your worth by what did not open. Do not stand again at the place where confusion spoke louder than my presence, where anxiety became familiar, where your heart kept shrinking just to remain near what I had already warned you about. The closed door was not proof that I was absent. It may have been proof that I was moving with power, guarding what you could not yet see, protecting a future you did not yet know how to defend, and preserving the tenderness in you that I still intend to use. Say it with faith until it becomes settled in your spirit. What God closed in protection, I will not reopen in fear. What God closed in protection, I will not reopen in loneliness. What God closed in protection, I will not reopen because memory became loud. What God closed in protection, I will not reopen because I am afraid there is nothing ahead. I will not force what God has finished. I will not chase what cost me peace. I will not call rejection what heaven called rescue. I will not call delay what heaven called preparation. I will not call loss what mercy used to lead me into freedom. Beloved, let this be the turning of your heart. If this message has become a witness within you, write your declaration, I trust God's closed doors. Let those words become a line of surrender in the ground. And if your heart still needs healing, direction, or discernment, leave your prayer request. Do not carry the ache alone. bring it into the light. Let prayer surround the place where confusion tried to rule. Let faith rise where disappointment tried to settle. And if this word helped you reinterpret a painful loss, if it helped you breathe again, if it helped you see that what ended may have been mercy in motion, like this video so this message can reach another wounded heart. Subscribe for more God-centered messages of peace, discernment, healing, and holy trust. Share this with someone who needs courage to stop forcing a closed door, someone who has been standing at an old threshold, wondering whether letting go means giving up. Let them hear that surrender can be obedience, and obedience can become peace. Walk forward now. Do not walk forward bitter. Do not walk forward suspicious of every good thing. Walk forward guarded by wisdom, softened by healing, and steadied by my love. I am before you. I am beside you. I am still leading you. You are not rejected, my beloved child. You are being protected, guided, and brought into the place I prepared for you.